My dear brothers and sisters, you all duly recognize. It is with this sense of humility, profound gratitude that all of being the presidential candidate of our great party. Make a bit of a long statement to show that we are here. I wish to assert unequivocally that a new Nigeria is possible. The conviction that united us, it must serve as our compass as we move on this challenging road to sustain us in our trials, in our difficult movements. Today, our nation finds itself at a crucial junction, enveloped by uncertainty. Families are anxious about their safety. Parents are concerned about their children's future, and talented youths of our nation. Businesses are struggling. Communities are suffering. Alarming number of citizens have lost with of our people. For that new Nigeria, it is another politics to build bridges where people erect walls. We must replace mistrust with confidence, division with understanding, and resentment with a collective purpose. A united Nigeria is indispensable, and that is the foundation on which we must grow. Number 2 is insecurity. If you follow the records today, in the year 2022, Nigeria was number 8 on the most impacted terrorist country in the world. By 2024, we are number 6. By 2026, we are now number 4. So it's worsening every day. This is a country, and Nigeria is a country that a few years ago was reputed as one of the biggest contributors to peacekeeping globally, where our men have fought in different and have helped to keep peace, helped to restore order in many countries, from Rwanda to Cambodia to Yugoslavia, Mali, Liberia, and we've done all this. And our army and military are recognized as one of the best. That even at the time, a Nigeria general commanded the entire UN keeping force. Today, our story is a sad story of where insecurity has taken over. We must address insecurity and resolve that with urgency. For no nation can thrive when citizens can no longer sleep with their eyes closed. Farmers can no longer go to farm, and nobody is safe. We must take that decisively. And I'll end it by saying that we have people in this party that can help us. I believe that we have somebody who has been Minister of Defense, who has been everything that will make it work. And I will conclude by mentioning this again on our strategy. Number 3 is health care. Nations are measured by health care. Today, Nigerian life expectancy is 54 years, the lowest in the world. And we are number 157 in health among the countries that are measured. Our primary health care is in tatters. And that is the foundation of health care. It will be a government that the party will be supreme. that NDC government in 4 years, we will ensure that our insurance that is below 10% today, health insurance, is at least double to over 20%. We will ensure that in 4 years, we must have a functional, well-manned primary health care in 8,809 wards of this country. We will ensure that by the time we end 4 years, 50% of our 30,000 primary health care centers will be functional and properly manned to serve our people. We will ensure that in 4 years, the budget of our health care will be 10% of our GDP as against below 5% today. Because we need it. And I want you to note everything we are promising you. Because who deliver? I was a governor. Everything I promised, I delivered it. And it will not be different this time. So we must do that. We must ensure that our people are healthy. Because it's important to us. We can no longer continue the way we are going. Our education. The number 3 thing is education. Our education today is among the worst globally. And of course, we have over 20 million children out of school. Education is number 1 driver of growth. And I'm happy that all the leaders of this party believe in the importance of education. We will invest in education. We will train our human capital to drive the process by investing heavily. We will ensure that out-of-school children are reduced drastically, and it will be measurable and people will see it. Because we ensure that every child will have opportunity of going to having basic education. Our budget and investment will be doubled, and donor agency support will be verifiably accounted for, not what it is today. We will do that. The next thing we are going to do is hunger and agriculture. We will miss the 2 of them. When this government came into being in 2023, Nigeria is 109 in 150 countries measured in hunger ranking. Today, we are 115 in 2025, classifying us as one of the hungriest countries of the world. And as you know, last year, I said every day, Ukraine that is at war, dashed Nigeria grain to feed themselves. They are at war. And they gave us grain. That cannot continue. Nigeria cannot be in list of hungriest country of the world because we have vast uncultivated land. We should not be part of it. The World Food Organization have just said that 35 million Nigerians are at risk of hunger this year. That shouldn't be. Nigeria is blessed. We have vast land. We shouldn't be. And whenever I say, people will say, oh, maybe it's not possible. And I can tell you it's very, very possible. We can feed ourselves, become a net exporter of food in this country. And I'll give you an illustration using what is happening all over the world. The greatest and most consumed food in this country today is rice. Nigeria cannot effectively produce 6 million tons of milled rice for the vast land that we have. And I do the small comparison to show you why we should produce more, but because we are not a producing nation, because we are not engaged in production, the greatest rice producer in the world today is India. India came from importation to being number one. Today, India produces about 200 million tons of milled rice. Today, India produces 200 million tons of milled rice. The number 3 is Bangladesh. They produce about 60 million tons of milled rice. And number 5 is Vietnam with 42 million tons of milled rice. If you look at these 3 countries, in terms of land size per population, Nigeria is better. The size of India today is about 3,287,000 square kilometers, which if you times it by 1,000 will give you 3 trillion, 287 billion meters. Divided with a population of 1.4 billion, it will give you 2.34 square meter per person. If you go to number 3, the number 3 producer, which is Bangladesh, is a country of 148,460 square kilometers of land. If you times it by 1,000, it will give you, again, 148,460,000 divided with 170 million of their population, it will give you 0.87 square meter per person, below 1 meter. If you do the same thing with Vietnam, Vietnam is 331,000 square kilometers. And you times it by 1,000, it will give you 3,331,000. And if you go and divide it with their population of 102, you get 3.2 square meter per person. And Nigeria, our own country, is a country of 923,000 square kilometers, which if you times it by 1,000 and divide it with a population of 230, is over 4 meters per person. So we have more land space. Where are we going? Why are we not producing more rice than they are producing? We are not even producing 10% of what they are producing. We will change Nigeria from consumption to production. So we can produce rice. We should be exporting rice. I have maintained that we can make more money from the vast land in the north than we make from oil. This laziness must stop. Our country must be productive. And we must feed our people. We cannot continue the way we are going today. We'll say no to hunger and use it for employing our people. Number 5 is energy sector. It is totally unacceptable. Today, Nigeria is the country with the highest. About 100 million Nigerians don't have access to electricity. In today's world, it is unacceptable. A country of over 200 million people only generate and distribute 4,000. When comparable countries of the world, to use even African ones, Their biggest economy, South Africa. So we are not even producing 10% of what these two African nations are producing and distributing. Both of them are less than 50% country. It is unacceptable. It cannot have this country who generate and distribute at least 10,000 megawatts. Getting government and start giving you excuse. If you Google Nigeria today, it says Nigeria is 4%, have 4% unemployment. Do not take it, it's not serious, it's a lie. Because in 2021, our unemployment was 30-something%. By sheer mathematics and wuru-wuru, it came to 4%. Because things have worsened, and I assure you, we will not take it. Nigeria remains over 30% in unemployment and unemployment, and over 40% of youth unemployment, which we will tackle. We'll be honest, we'll be transparent. We'll tackle youth and unemployment in Nigeria head on. And we will do so by supporting, number one, micro, small, medium businesses, which are young ones that, and we can compare it to other nations by giving them the necessary tax-intensive incentive, support, and ensuring that they can borrow money at a competitive rate. Today in Indonesia, the biggest employer of labor is micro, small, medium businesses. They generate over 90% of employment because young people who are vast in Nigeria, talented, should be supported with an interest rate that can make them thrive. Who borrows money at 30% and survive? Only government. The government have crowded up the borrowing space. We will free it. In Indonesia, the interest rate officially is 15%. Small businesses get it at 5%. We want to replicate it in Nigeria, where small businesses have access to funds and can borrow it at a competitive rate. It is important that we deal with it and deal with it aggressively. I know the day is fast spent. We will be dealing with other issues. I assure you that our government will deal with the issue of corruption. You will see a drastic reduction on corruption and cost of governance. This waste must stop. We need the resources to invest in critical areas. So we cannot continue. We cannot continue to ask people to fast when we are feasting. No. You cannot continue to tell people who don't know where next meal is coming from and you're buying new jets, new yachts, new houses. No. It is time for us to stop that. So we will cut drastically cost of governance and reduce corruption. I've said it before, to fight corruption starts from you. If you're not stealing, your wife is not, your children are not, you reduce it by 50%. And that we will do. Rule of law. We will ensure that our country becomes a country that operates within the law. We cannot continue rascality. Government disobeying the law, government interfering in the rule of law. We need the law to work because that is what will attract investment for us. Session of the law. Politics today, I said to them, who became a governor through the court. I was in court for 3 years. Without knowing any of the judges, 5 of them gave judgment in favor of me. Without knowing anybody in appeal, they gave judgment in my favor. I was impeached. I went back to the court. But the lower court and the appeal court returned me without complete. I went to Supreme Court of Nigeria. I did not know anybody. But within, and all this I did without giving anybody a farthing or meeting any of the judges. I want Nigeria to return to that era when the rule of law will prevail and the country will work. And finally, democracy. The democracy we practice today must change. It must be a government of the people, by the people and for the people. Which I urge all of you not to relent. Opposition parties are being treated like criminals, harassed and everything. You will not believe, because we are denied space everywhere until graciously we are given this one. That's why we came here. Everywhere we went, where we did our last convention, we were denied. That's why we came here. And you can see what happened to other parties that today, 2 of them were shot down by police. Nobody wants to come. Even when we came here, they said we should not advertise it until this morning. That's why you didn't hear about it before. It was this morning that we authorized to say we are coming here. That it should not be. Our government will work with the opposition. We will encourage them. We will make sure they exist. Because that's what it should be. And in spirit of this, I've said it before, we will ensure that our party is supreme. We will work with them. Things will be different. It will no longer be when whoever wins the election and sworn in turns himself into whatever you choose to call him. No, our party will be supreme. And we will ensure that all those who are involved are partners. We will work. The government we intend to form will no longer be a government where anybody will say that the vice president is a spare tire. The vice president will be a partner, because we want to build a nation where there's 2 equal people who work for the great of the country. Decisions will be taken as partners. Everybody will be consulted. The party will know the decision of the government. That is what we require. That's how government functions. Because it's about the party. It's about the government. And that's what we are going to do to ensure that we succeed. It is in this vein that I graciously accept the affirmation as the candidate of this great party, and in the same spirit, inviting Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso to join me as the vice presidential candidate so we can rescue this country. I'll show you. Kwankwaso believes in education. Kwankwaso believes that a child of somebody should be trained to be somebody. He believes in education. He believes in security. And that we will work together to ensure that it happens. It will not be a government where, remember what I said, we will be partners. Not a government where one will be found wanting. I assure you And I urge you, please join us in building this new Nigeria that is possible. Thank you and God bless you.
Kashe gaban magautan nan dan ba za su kara bacci ba.